Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. Today is November 25th, 2025, Tuesday before Thanksgiving. I'll be honest, I am a little bit sick. All of my kids are sick. And so all of my kids are home from school today. So if I sound a little raspy, a little sick, or if you hear my kids in the background, I do apologize. But nonetheless, I committed to making these live videos every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 10 a.m. So I am committed to you and I'm going to prove my consistency. So here I am, not giving up, not stopping for anything. So let's talk about it. I am completely changing my marketing strategy as a bookkeeping business owner. And if you follow me on social media, you might have noticed over the past 3 or 4 days. So let's just jump right into it. Let's not waste any time. First of all, real quick, if you're watching live, go ahead and ask as many questions as you possibly can while I go through my notes. And then once I'm done explaining my changed marketing strategy, I'll do my best to answer everybody's questions. If you're watching the replay, consider watching live if you want to ask questions in real time. And then if you're listening to the podcast on Apple or Spotify, I sincerely appreciate your support. And if you want to watch the YouTube video, my name is the exact same, bookkeeping expert Zach Pasquarello on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Okay, so let's talk about my changed marketing strategy. So I have been teaching for the past 3 years that you need to mix it up, that you need to post personal posts and business posts, bookkeeping tips, business and personal. And both posts work really well together. You cannot just do one or the other. And honestly, over the past 6 months, I have abandoned my own teaching principles because I was so enthusiastic about growing my new business, Zip Capital. And so in my mind, I was thinking everything I do needs to be about Zip Capital. Every post needs to be about Zip Capital so that I can spread awareness and get as many people as possible to invest in Zip Capital. But I forgot about my own teaching principles of mixing it up, having some personal posts, having some business posts. So in my mind, I was thinking every single post should somehow point back to Zip Capital. And then I had an epiphany. So a couple things are changing with my business right now. I'm not promoting my bookkeeping business. I'm promoting Zip Capital, but it all works the same. So it's actually really helpful for me to be able to teach you how to promote your bookkeeping business based on what I'm doing with Zip Capital, because I was not promoting Harrisburg bookkeeping the same way that you should promote your bookkeeping business, because my business was 4 years old and I had a ton of clients and a ton of experience. But Zip Capital, my investment fund, is 1 year old. It's brand new. So the way I am promoting Zip Capital is very applicable to the way that you could promote your bookkeeping business. So there's two things that I'm doing. I am making my videos better. So Alex Ramosi, got to give him credit. He has this philosophy of creating content, and it starts with more, and then you can do better, and then you can do new. So I started with more. So I just did a ton of videos, as much as I possibly could. And the logic behind this philosophy is that if the more you do, you are naturally going to make it better. If you focus too much on trying to make it better in the beginning, you're missing the point. You just need to get reps. You need to practice making more videos, and then naturally and strategically, systematically, they will get better. So that's what I did. I made a ton of videos, I short videos, 1 minute, 3 minutes, long videos. And when I say I did a ton of videos, I did this for about 3 or 4 years. And I've gone through waves and cycles and phases of trying to make them better, but I think I'm on to something right now. So you've all seen the short 60-second day in the life vlog style short videos. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. So if you haven't seen my Facebook or Instagram reels, definitely recommend follow me on Facebook or Instagram. My social media channels are linked down below, and check out the new videos that I'm posting. They're not great. I'll be the first person to say they are not great quality. I'm not the best creator. I'm not very creative, but I work very hard. I'm very consistent. And so I'm committed right now to making better videos and even new style videos. But before you jump into doing better and new stuff, you got to do more stuff. So you got to commit to creating more content first, and then you can try to make it better And then you can try to do new stuff. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing new stuff because I've been doing the same thing for the past 4 years, and it's good. So what I've been doing, if you don't know, is I just do talking head videos, just like this, but I just do short videos, like 60 seconds up to 3 minutes of just me talking in my office in front of the camera. And that was fine. I was getting 300 views, maybe 500 views, maybe 1,000 views if my video did really well. And it was fine because it was really easy. I was able to stay in my office, continue doing my work, quickly record the video, edit it really quickly, and post it, and never leave my office and never really leave the routine of my work. So it was super easy. But now I'm all in on trying to grow Zip Capital. So now I want to make my content better and possibly even new. So now what I'm doing is I'm adding some action shots. I'm recording myself. I'm doing daily vlogs, like a day in the life kind of style vlog. So if you haven't seen it yet, check out my Facebook reels and my Instagram reels. I even post them on LinkedIn. And I have a YouTube Shorts channel where I post all my short videos to my other YouTube channel. That's also linked down below. So if you like short videos, subscribe to my YouTube Shorts channel. That's also linked down below. But okay, let's try to wrap this up and let's try to make this make the most sense for you. So instead of just doing the same boring video over and over again, which I did do that for a long time. So I developed the habit of creating content every day, which I think is great. I developed the habit. I learned how to do it. I built the confidence. I learned how to talk in front of a camera. Now I'm trying to make them better and I'm trying to do new, different types of videos. So over the weekend or last week, I filmed my basement and I talked about my basement and I related it back to Zip Capital and I related it to like being a parent, remodeling my basement, focusing on my strengths, and I like made a bunch of videos in my basement. And then I also had my wife record me raking leaves and I kind of made like a full story of me raking leaves and cleaning up my backyard and kind of related that to real estate lending. And so that was my first epiphany of like, let's try to make these videos better. Let's try maybe a new style of video to make this better. But the next thing that I had, even a better epiphany, an epiphany on top of my epiphany, is that what did I do? So I felt like every video had to point back to Zip Capital. So this was the real turning point, I think, hopefully in my content. So I felt like every video had to point back to Zip Capital. And I just realized this on Saturday because my son was having a birthday party and I was like, okay, I'm going to record a day, like I'm going to record us getting ready for this birthday party. How in the world am I going to relate this back to Zip Capital? But then I remembered what I teach. I teach some of your posts should be personal, some of your posts should be business related. And so I just remembered what I teach everybody. And I thought to myself, you know what? It doesn't have to point back to Zip Capital. Not every marketing content, not every marketing piece or every piece of social media content needs to be hardcore about bookkeeping or hardcore about Zip Capital, my investment fund for me personally. So it was at that moment that I realized I can just make a personal post. And here's the cool thing that happens. The personal post always does really, really well because you're not trying to sell anything. People like to see it. They don't feel like they're getting conned into buying something or signing up for something. So it's a very natural social media content. And those kind of posts do really, really well on the algorithm. They get a ton of views, they get a ton of impressions, engagements, comments, likes, everything. They do really, really well. But you're not promoting anything. So if you just want to be a lifestyle vlogger, then sure, that's all you ever have to post. But for us, we're trying to sell a product. We're trying to sell a service. You're trying to sell bookkeeping services. I'm trying to raise capital from new investors in Zip Capital. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pair the personal posts with the business posts. So maybe every other day, maybe some days I'll post a personal vlog video and people will love it. It'll get a ton of engagement. It'll be personal and it'll do really well. And also it'll help build trust with total strangers on the internet because they'll learn about me. They'll see my life. They'll see my daily routine and they'll start to trust me. We'll start to build relationships through them just simply watching my videos. So the personal posts are amazing. And then it's like a left hook, right hook kind of thing. I'm going to hit them with a bunch of left hooks, and then hit them with the right hook. The right hook is the business post, the Harrisburg bookkeeping tip of the day, the QuickBooks strategy post, the invest in Zip Capital. I'm offering 8% up to 12% fixed returns. Here's what I do for real estate private money lending. Here's how I mitigate risk. Here's how I secure your investment in Zip Capital. Here's how I can offer you 9% fixed returns on a $100,000 investment. Hit them with the right hook, but every once in a while. And then it's not going to get as many views. It's not going to get as much engagement, but you have already built up that goodwill with your audience, with all of the personal posts. They love seeing your content, and the algorithm thinks that your posts are doing really well. So whenever you make that hardcore bookkeeping business post, that hardcore Zip Capital post, then it'll do a lot better than if you just simply make the hardcore business posts every single day. You need to combine the personal post with the business posts. And that's what I've been teaching for the past 2 or 3 years. And for some reason, I strayed away from that strategy. And so this weekend, I had 2 epiphanies, and I'm going back to my strategy. So follow me on social media, see the kind of videos that I post. Honestly, I'm just using my phone, and I'm just using like free video editing software. It's not great. I'm not a professional editor. My editing skills are terrible. My creative skills are lacking, but I'm going to try to do this every day consistently, and then I'll just naturally get better, or I'll just figure it out. I don't know. But that's my totally changed marketing strategy. So I'm going to be making my videos better. I'm going to be doing more personal stuff. And then every once in a while, hit them with the Zip Capital post. And hopefully I can raise more money in Zip Capital. Hopefully you can get more bookkeeping clients by making more personal posts. And then every once in a while, hit them with the bookkeeping post. Okay, that's it. That's it for my completely changed marketing strategy. It doesn't sound like much, but I really am completely changing the philosophy and the strategy for my marketing content. So appreciate you listening to that. Okay, we've got more than 60 people watching live right now, ton of people asking questions in the chat. So let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about the questions. Let's answer as many questions as we possibly can. Let's see, Zach, good morning. I want to focus on YouTube to build my bookkeeping business. What would your daily strategy look like for this? Thanks. Love your stuff. Thanks for sharing. Man, there's so many different options. So it doesn't matter what you do. You have to figure out something you can do every day. It literally does not matter what you do. Just do anything for 30 days straight, and then do it again for 90 days straight. And then you can start to make it better. So just do more. It doesn't matter. It could be, you could start with a short 1-minute video. You could start with a 10-minute QuickBooks tutorial. Go to my YouTube channel and you can actually look at the oldest videos. You can sort through my videos and you could look at the oldest ones. Maybe you can get some inspiration. Maybe you can see where I started, what I started doing 3-4 years ago on YouTube. But it doesn't matter what you do. You just have to do more of it consistently every day, and then get better, and then try new stuff. And then I would also recommend look at the data. Look back to see what videos are working and what videos aren't working. So let's just talk about this real quick. Full transparency. I'm not sure if these live videos are a great use of my time. I'm not sure if these live videos are really great for converting leads or for even gaining new subscribers on YouTube. I'm not really sure. It does seem like the few people who watch really like these live videos. But for whatever reason, my subscriber count is not growing as much as it was a year ago. I don't know. Maybe my videos are getting worse. Maybe they're just getting redundant. Maybe people don't care as much about me or my bookkeeping business. I'm not sure why, but my channel is actually not doing as well today as it was doing 12 months ago, which is not necessarily the direction that I want to be going in. And also, it's not always about the stats. It's not always about the views and the subscribers, but I mean, you do want to grow, right? Like that's why we're doing anything. So this is kind of off topic, but with my YouTube channel right now, I started these live videos like maybe 6 weeks ago. I forget when I started. I'm going to wait because you want to do something long enough so that you actually have some data to look at. And especially whenever you start something new or change something, naturally there's going to be a disruption in your audience. So you have to give it enough time that you can actually look at reliable data. So for me specifically, like I'm going to be doing this hopefully I'm going to try to finish out the whole year of doing these live videos, and then I'll go back and look to see at the data. I'll go back to see the analytics and see if people are actually watching these videos, if people actually like it, if people are actually subscribing. I don't know. So you want to do it long enough that you can actually look at real data. And you also want to make it simple and sustainable enough that you don't give up. Hi, Zach. If mileage deduction is used over actual expenses, do you record in QuickBooks or is the mile a separate doc the client provides to their tax preparer? Yeah, so mileage is separate from QuickBooks. I don't track mileage in QuickBooks. I just tell people they should have a log of their miles and then they can give that to their tax accountant. Hey Zach, can you please link your Facebook group? So Shelby, hopefully, let's see if somebody else can do it. If anybody else is watching this right now, if you are in my public Facebook group, could you please add that to the chat for Shelby, please? I would really appreciate it. Brett, good morning, Zach. Would you recommend having the startup fee for new clients from the beginning or after landing a few clients? I think you should do it right away. Have the onboarding fee. So here's what I think. When it comes to quoting people, it's just the beginning of the negotiation. So if you quote somebody monthly bookkeeping with an onboarding fee, and if they fight back or if they say they don't like it or they don't it's too expensive, it's just the start of the negotiation. So you always want to give them kind of more favorable terms for you. That way there's wiggle room to negotiate. Like if you quote them monthly and they hate the onboarding fee, okay, fine. How about this? How about I'll give you a break. I'll give you a discount. I'll cut the onboarding fee in half. And that way at least you're still getting some onboarding fee and the client then feels like they're getting a good deal. So anytime I quote somebody, I always try to quote them kind of like the upper limit and then give myself room to negotiate down if I need to. Chili Davids, doing a catch up for a business that gets paid with a credit card machine. How would I categorize the fees coming from the merchant or credit card company? So I'm assuming the credit card fees are separate from the actual bank deposit. So if it works the way I think it works, here, let me explain it real quick. So if I pay you with my credit card and you charge me $100, if that's the only transaction, then you would probably get, I don't know, maybe a $97 bank deposit for my $100 payment. So you're only going to get a $97 bank deposit. So if you record that as income, that's fine, but it only looks like you got $97 worth of income when in reality you got $100. So what you need to do is record the bank deposits as income and then get a report from the payment processor and then figure out what the fees were for last month and then debit payment processor fees, Stripe fees, Square fees, and then credit income for that remainder. So in that example, we're going to debit Stripe fees for $3, credit income for $3. And now with that $100 charge, we have $100 of income, $3 of Stripe fees on the P&L. Can you talk about how you learned about private money lending? Where did you learn this? What made you shift to Zip Capital? Chris, really appreciate the plug. I'm going to try to keep this brief because I do want the majority of these videos to be about bookkeeping, but give me 60 seconds. But I will talk about private money lending really quickly. So I was doing bookkeeping for a real estate investor back in 2023. They were pretty big and they were paying their private money lenders a lot of money. 12% annual interest. I had $50,000 of saved up because God blessed my bookkeeping business. God blessed me. I was able to grow my business pretty big, pretty well in 2023. I had $50,000 saved up. I was going to buy a rental property because that's what everybody else was doing. I figured why not buy a real estate investment. I was looking at the market. I couldn't really find a good property to buy. And I realized I'm not a handyman. I didn't want to deal with tenants and maintenance and evictions and vacancies. So I figured instead of buying a property, why don't I just lend to my real estate investors? And plus, that way, I still am relatively liquid. And that way, if a good property does come up, I could just get my money back eventually and then maybe buy a property. If the real estate market becomes more favorable, I could get my money back and buy a property. So I decided on private money lending. And then things went really, really well. So I was consistently making about 20% annual ROI on my private money loans because I charge 12% annual interest plus a 3% origination fee plus a processing fee plus an underwriting fee. All my loans are short term, 6 months, which means I'm flipping these loans every 4 to 6 months, which means I'm getting the fees multiple times per year. So that 12% annual interest plus the fees, I was getting about 20% annual ROI on my money. And if you know anything about investing, that's really, really amazing. And the icing on the cake, all my loans were secured by a mortgage, a first lien mortgage on real estate. So my loans were secured and I was making 20% annual ROI. And it was at that point the light bulb went off. I was like, this is amazing. Let me take my accounting skills of underwriting. I know how to review tax returns and bank statements and financial reports. Let me take my accounting skills, learn how to underwrite borrowers and properties. Let me take my marketing and networking skills from growing my bookkeeping business to raise capital. I married the two, and now I'm raising capital, marketing and sales, and I'm underwriting borrowers and I'm doing the real estate loans, leveraging my accounting expertise. So that's how I got into real estate private money lending. And here is why I'm all in, because I can make 20% pretty consistently. I'm paying my investors about 10%, let's call it, which means I'm making easy numbers about 10% on the money that I raise. So every $100,000 that I raise from an investor means that I profit $10,000 per year, which is basically like a really good bookkeeping client. And it's pretty easy to raise $100,000. I can make $10,000 per year. And it's also super easy to place that $100,000 into a real estate loan. It's really not that much work, maybe 5 hours. So I can make $10,000 per year on 5 hours of work. And then you add that all together, and instead of $100,000, you get $5 million. And then you make $500,000, and then you work maybe 10, 15, 20 hours per week, make $500,000 a year. That leverage, that ability to make money off of other people's money is just endless, unlimited. So that's why I'm deciding to go all in on Zip Capital because of that. So sorry, that was way too long of an explanation, but that's kind of the logic behind why I'm abandoning the bookkeeping business and going all in on Zip Capital. Okay, looks like we have a super chat here. Appreciate you. Thanks so much for the super chat. Is there training for restaurants or same steps? So, restaurants, bookkeeping for restaurants is very, very complicated. I actually, fun fact, I don't do bookkeeping for restaurants. I refuse to do it. I do bookkeeping for real estate investors, truckers, general contractors, everybody else, but I will not do bookkeeping for restaurants. I actually turn down restaurant clients because they have inventory, a ton of employees, sales tax, payroll, tips. It's just very complicated. Different they want to track their different sales. They've got bar sales, merchandise sales, different types of food sales. I don't do bookkeeping for restaurants. If you want to do bookkeeping for restaurants, I would probably recommend make that your niche and maybe become an expert on restaurant bookkeeping. And then there's millions of restaurants, so you could be a bookkeeper for a ton of other restaurants. But if you don't want to make that your niche, I would probably recommend don't do restaurant bookkeeping unless you have prior knowledge or prior experience in the restaurant industry. I would personally recommend stay away from restaurants. Okay. Thank you for everything, Zach. Question on Corp credit card reconciliation. Parent account reconciled through January 2025. There are two subs that have balance from 2024. Should I move those balances to the main sub? Okay. So if you reconciled the parent account for a credit parent account has all of the sub account transactions. So by you reconciling the parent account, you are also reconciling the sub accounts. So don't change the sub accounts because that will affect your parent account. So I know it seems weird, but if you look at your balance sheet and if you look at the parent account, whatever the ending balance in that parent account, it takes into account the sub accounts. So you're probably talking about Chase because Chase, for whatever reason, is horrible when it comes to their QuickBooks connection. If anybody from Chase is watching this video, please fix your QuickBooks connection for your Chase credit cards. But as long as you're reconciling the parent account, you should be okay. Thomas Grant McDonald. Oh, I want to be your video editor. Can I send you some samples? Let me save you time. I'll do it for free. Thomas, appreciate you. I can't stop you from sending me samples. I will just be honest with you. I've had a ton of people offer to work for me for free, and I've never taken them up on it, but you are more than welcome to send me an email if you want. For someone who doesn't want to pay for a cleanup but is willing to pay for ongoing bookkeeping, would you do their bookkeeping while their books are a mess? Steele Sadler, I would offer to start doing their bookkeeping as of what, maybe January 1st, 2026, and then just not worry about 2025. I would hate to start doing bookkeeping for somebody in June of 2025 if I knew that January through May was a mess. I've done it. It never ends well. It never ends well because that person clearly isn't super serious about their business. Otherwise, they would want you to do their bookkeeping for the entire year. You can offer to do it, make the money, get the experience. Who knows? Maybe they're super small, or maybe they weren't really that serious, or maybe they don't really care too much about the first 6 months. I would do it and just let them know very clearly, hey, I'm starting October 1st, 2025. I am not working on anything prior to October 1st of 2025. Just be very clear with that. Steele, also, your new style videos are awesome. I really enjoy them. Appreciate you, Steele. Thanks so much. Faith Sparkles Clean. Hey, Zach, I've started building my business. What are the simple services I can offer to not get overwhelmed as I keep learning? Super simple. I'll tell you what not to do. Don't do payroll tax. Don't do payroll. Don't do sales tax. Don't do accounts receivable. Don't do accounts payable. Don't do anything with taxes. Nothing with budgeting or forecasting or controller or CFO services, fractional CFO services. Don't do any office manager tasks. Don't do any, like, don't go to people's offices. Don't go in person. Keep it simple. Virtual, remote, QuickBooks Online, record transactions, reconcile accounts, generate financial reports. That's all you have to do. Super simple. Let's see. Next gen account typically handled outside of QBO. Yep. Yeah, you could for the mile tracking. Also, to register, should I get an anytime mailbox for Google and LLC registration? Honestly, I don't know what that means. I just used my personal address to register my LLC. I did not publish my personal address on my Google My Business, so it's not public. So people can't find out where I live super easily by looking at my business. But I don't have that. I don't have an anytime mailbox. Let's see. I wear so many hats as a leader of this and that, so my posts are a wide variety of subjects. Just to keep my name, me, active in folks' eyes and ears, I post maybe once or twice on my bookkeeping business. Brian Birdsong, this, I think it's going really well for you. So I would keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing. Let's see. Next question. Thank you for all you do, Zach. You have helped me tremendously. God bless you for all you do. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your support. Joseph Wider, how did you learn bookkeeping to begin with? I took Intro to Accounting at Penn State Online. I learned bookkeeping fundamentals, debits, credits, assets, liabilities, income, expenses. I learned by taking Intro to Accounting at a college class, and then I learned QuickBooks Online, and then I just combined the two, bookkeeping fundamentals and QuickBooks Online, and then I started doing bookkeeping for small business owners. Mike Maley, I'm not really comfortable showing my face. Is that going to hold my content back, or can they still be good enough? It's definitely going to make your content not as good as it potentially could be, because showing your face really helps to build trust and transparency and relationships. So you definitely still can grow your business without showing your face, but it'll help a lot if you could show your face. So I'm not sure what you're scared about or feeling insecure about, but I would encourage you to try if you feel comfortable. But I understand not everybody does. So if you really hate it, if you really don't feel comfortable, you don't have to do it, but it will definitely help. Jamie Hartzell, hi Zach, love your videos. Can you talk about what kind of insurance a bookkeeper should have and what you do around cybersecurity? Do you use the VPN, or what around data protection? So I am not very knowledgeable when it comes to insurance and cybersecurity. I don't really know anything about cybersecurity, but I do have errors and omissions insurance. So that's all I have. I have errors and omissions insurance. It's not too expensive. I would recommend you get that. But honestly, I don't know much about it. Don't know much about insurance or cybersecurity. Zach, have you ever boosted your posts on LinkedIn? No, I've never. That's basically paying for advertising. I've never really done that. Never been a fan. Never really needed to. I've never done that. How do you avoid paying a ton in taxes if you aren't investing in real estate? I pay a lot of money in taxes. Last year, I paid, I think, close to $200,000 federal, state, and local taxes. So I don't avoid paying taxes. Um, yeah, tax evasion is illegal, and I pay 100% of the taxes that I owe. So my philosophy has always been just make more money. Not the best philosophy, not a perfect philosophy, not a philosophy for everybody, but my philosophy has always been just make a ton of money. I don't want to invest in things simply solely for the tax benefits. That's never been my strategy. I've never done that. I've never been the kind of guy who buys the car that you can depreciate 100%. I've never been the kind of person that's like, oh, well, it's a write off. At least it's reducing my income. I have always been very frugal. I don't spend my money. I show a ton of income because I really don't spend it. I don't just buy assets just to depreciate them. That's never been my strategy. So I just pay a lot of money in taxes and I continue to grow my business and continue to save my money. Have you ever looked into tax lien investing? No, I've never done that before. Nope. Okay. One more question. Tip for someone who is facially deformed but wants to use social media marketing. Rusty nails. I'm not sure how you are facially deformed, but that makes you authentic. So if you are willing and able to show your face, I think you should. Even if you look different, I think you should still show your face because the internet is a beautiful place. There are billions of people on the internet. I guarantee you there are a ton of people who struggle with insecurities, who struggle with face deformities similar to you. So, the internet's a wonderful place where other people can come together and support you. So I guarantee that your uniqueness will help grow your business. Whatever you look like, as long as you own it, as long as you have confidence and you're courageous, if you are willing to put yourself out there, I guarantee it's going to help grow your business. You will for sure receive some nasty negative comments. I receive a ton of negative comments. The internet can be a terrible place. But if you choose to focus on the positive people and the polite people, then the internet can also be a beautiful, magical place. Just look at this. Look at this right here. We've got almost 100 people watching live. We're all supporting each other. We're all encouraging each other. So if you feel up to it, I feel like I would do it. I'm speaking to everybody, not just you specifically, but anybody who is struggling or feeling insecure or have something physically different about them. I would say own it, be authentic, let that be you personally and just go for it. Like I'm not perfect by any means. I wear the same black t-shirt every day. I've got my kids' drawings up behind me. My video quality is not great and I just sit in my office and make random videos and I've got almost 60,000 followers across all my social media channels. So I would say let today be the day that you just get started. Just get started, make some type of content, start advertising something, whatever your business might be, start promoting something, start talking to people about what you're doing, spread the word, build an audience, and you never know where it might take you. So with that, I'm done for the day. Appreciate all of you. Thank you all so much for joining and asking questions. If real quick, Zip Capital. If you want to invest in Zip Capital, my investment fund, there is a link down below to join. You need $25,000 or more to invest. But if that's you and you want to chat, you can register on my website and we can chat and we can see if you can invest and earn 8% up to 12% fixed returns. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.